So I've just gotten to the new year 2025 and I just want to make my 2024 top lessons public because it's really important to look back at the previous years. Something I just found out is very, very important to go back, look back at the previous years, look at your mistakes, look at even the successes, look at what you've learned from them and use them to propel you into this upgoing success that never really ends. So the first one I'm going to talk about is there's always something you can learn from someone. Yeah, I have a notes. I have the notes here, and the notes it's for very, very, very important reasons. I sent the email out about almost a week ago. I made a very short video to say I send this stuff out, so anybody that wants to look up, the link will be below to look at it up. But it's very, very important to look at these mistakes. So I wrote them down. Everything I'm talking about here is written down, not scripted, but written down. They are points form. It's written down. I'm talking about things I've already written completely. I've thought it out. Nothing is AI generated. Nothing is kind of anything fucking anything like this is genuine experience. This is something. These are things I wrote down myself, and it took me time. There are things I had written in detail for about 5 months ago, 6 months ago, a long time ago before I even thought I was going to make a video like this. So I just want to name them a few and kind of list them out. Oh, my picture. Kind of list them out and talk about it because it's really, really important. And the first one is there's always something you can learn from someone else, right? This is one of the ones I've always kind of known, right? I've always kind of known there's always something you can learn from someone, but it's only gotten deeper. It's only gotten kind of it's only gotten more confirmed, gotten more official, gotten more clearer. I've really understood things better. Everything I know now, like one of the most important things I learned last year is really this is that you can always learn something from someone. It doesn't matter if it's this a video like this that you see on any platform wherever you see it, and then you see that the person is talking some kind of sense and there's something you can learn from it. It doesn't matter in real life. Even when you see somebody, let me give you an example. You see a baby, you see let me not say a baby, I'm saying a child. You see a baby, a child do some certain something, like it is always something you can learn from that person. I know once I made a very something very public that is kind of controversial, and I said there's one thing I've learned about life, and this is revolving around this point, right? It's talking about how I've known some very sketchy people, right? I know people that are they're not very genuine, like they do some kind of sketchy things. Like let me just give an example. Let me say somebody is a thief or a scammer, whatever. He does some kind of ingenuine acts, right? But just the amount of respect he gives maybe to his elders, the amount of respect he gives to his elders, the amount of respect, the way he respects people, the way he talks to people, the way he approaches things, it makes him genuinely someone you can learn. At least you can learn that from him, even though this is really my point. Even though there are things he does that you shouldn't learn from, but there's at least something you can learn from him. You can at least learn that from him that respect is important. You should respect your elders, this and that, all those kind of things you can learn from him, and discard the fact that I'm not even saying it's not important, but you can discard the fact that the guy is maybe a thief or a scammer. You can learn the important reality of the fact that he's a very respectful person. So that was kind of the explanation I had on that, and I was just actually yes, even this video, there's at least something you can learn from it. I don't know whether you know me, if you may not even know me, but it's something you can learn from it. You can just even learn this point, and this point sticks with you throughout your life, and maybe that's also your own lesson that you learn, and you make a video about it next year talking about how you learned something from somebody, and it's from some random guy somewhere on the internet that was far away, far fetched. You didn't even know where the guy came from. Just landed up on your page, and then you learned that thing from him, and here is it. So yeah, you can always learn something from somebody. And then I'm moving to the next one. Is year over year, this year has been the best year of my life yet. And this one is very important because I said yet firstly, and then I said it's been the best. Like it's only gotten better. This is very important for anybody who has a hard beginning, who has a tough background, who is coming from a very a tough childhood, right? Even if it's just a tough life, even if you just had a tough life, I want you to realize something that life genuinely, if you want a better life, I mean genuinely you want it, you will have it, you will have a better life. You will be able to, with the way things work now, with the way the internet is now, there are ways to get in contact with the right people, there are ways to do the right things, there are just ways to work your way out of a bad life. And this is genuinely just a message of hope. Like the second point is just for anybody who is in my situation, or anybody who has been in my situation, or anybody who, like, this lesson can be beneficial to anybody. If you think your life is crash. If you think your life is, I don't want to use the word shit. Like if you think you're not living the life you want to live, I like that picture. If you think you're not living the life you want to live, genuinely, I want you to realize that in if you start working towards making your life better, your life will get better by the day. By the day, I mean by the day. If you start working to make your life better today, tomorrow you'll feel a bit different. You don't realize it until it's about 1 month old. Until you're about 1 month in, then 1 year in, then 2 years in, and you're like, wow, my life genuinely just got so better after 2 years, 3 years into the game. So yeah, this is very very important. This is just a message. There's a lot of explaining to this. I don't want to overgo into the details, but yeah, I've had a my life has been what it is, and it's only gotten better because I'm working towards making it better, right? So that's really the point there. And my third point is truly nothing beats consistency. I say this point, and genuinely it brings me back into the point where it's funny because this is one of those things we all know. We all know that nothing beats consistency, but none of us are consistent at anything. I mean, genuine consistency. I don't mean it's when I don't mean to anybody listen to me and it's like it's when I feel motivated that I work, or maybe I work 2 times a week, or maybe I work 3 times a week, or I work one day when I feel motivated, and the next day where I wait for the time. No, 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 no. That's not what I mean. I mean, if you genuinely just decide to work 8 hours a day, every single day, Monday to maybe Friday or Saturday, and so that every single week and every single month, you make sure that those days are checked on your calendar list. I assure you, I don't care what you work on, you will surpass 99%. In fact, let me not let's just be realistic. You surpass at least 90% of people. Like this is true in the most obvious way. It's impossible to beat consistency. Nothing beats the consistency is what we know in the modern world, or is what we know in another form as hard work. It's consistency. If you just decide that I'm going to carry bricks for 8 hours a day, every single day, Monday to Saturday, or Monday to Friday, whatever that is for you, and I'm going to do that every single day, every single week, and mark it every single month, and be sure I do just that. I don't care what you do. I don't care whether you're an artist, whether you're a musician, whether you're a YouTuber. Just decide, yeah, even if it's just these videos, just decide I'm going to post just these videos every single day for a month. The improvement you will have in that month you can't it can't be compared to a random guy like me who just decides to post whenever he wants to. This is I'm really saying that this is a lesson I've learned, right? I know it is true, but this is the hardest lesson. Like I've learned it, right? But until it will sting me the hardest before I'll be able to implement it, because it's true I'm very consistent. Of course I don't record these videos maybe every year or something, but I'm very consistent at so many of the things I do, but I'm not extremely consistent, and nothing beats consistency. Like trust me, if you want to win any game, I don't care whether it's the game of life, game of finance, game of money, game, whatever game, business, whatever game you're in, if you're just consistent and you do it for long enough, nothing will be able to beat you. You will crush. I mean crush 99%. I truly want to be realistic, that's why I say 90%, but truthfully it's 99% of any competition you have. Because nothing beats consistency, but it's very, 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 very difficult to be consistent. Like most people can't be consistent. I myself, I struggle with consistency a lot. Why I'm someone that's super hardworking. So it's a very tough battle. But nothing beats consistency, and if you can learn this at the earliest and implement it, you will be so far ahead. And I want to go to the next one. You can actually go from zero to hero today. This is still I don't want to go so much deep into the story. But the reason I write these lessons is because it's very important to me. Like these are my most important lessons. They actually even written here. My 10 most important lessons, or my 11 most important lessons of 2024. These are my most important lessons. The reason these are my most important lessons is because I've gone through a life where at some point I really asked myself, does it get better? Like, can it get better? Is this all of it? That is why these lessons that's why you see my lessons are kind of somehow they come around this same point of you can truly go from zero to hero, because sometimes you realize that you are at the bottom and you're like, wow, it's really bad. Will I ever come out from this bottom? Anybody that understands me out there knows what I'm talking about. But when you have a life like mine, what should I say? I don't want to go too deep. Yeah, what I really want to say is any stage you are at right now, any stage you are at right now, trust the fact that yes, there is a way out. There is a way for a better life. There's a way for better, whatever you are in right now. There's a way for it. Most times, it's it hides behind very, very, very hard, concise, smart work. Like what I just said is it hides behind very smart work that is done very hardly. Like you have to do it really. Like you really have to do the work for a very long time, and you have to do the work concisely. You don't have to. You have to beat around the bush and be doing some other kind of work when that's the work you need to do. This point is a bit. It's a bit. Yeah, it's better than the skill of explaining in one single video. Surely I'll do another video dedicated to it or something. But what I truly want to talk about, I want to talk about. There's something about last year that I don't know if most people are aware of. People were making 15, 20, 25. I don't want to blow anybody's mind. Like it was maybe even more than that. Dollars a month, $25,000 a month on TikTok, sharing 1 minute videos. People were making that kind of money. Did I make that kind of money? Absolutely not. I did not make that kind of money. Just to be clear, but people were making it, and it opened my eyes. Like it opened my eyes. I've always known that these things are kind of possible. But when I'm talking at the dimension I'm talking right now, I'm talking about things I've seen myself. I've seen people do it. I've even discussed. I've had a discussion with some guy still on YouTube that did this thing. I personally haven't done it because of what I'm doing demands a lot. But I've seen people do these things. If you are in the world today, and you think there is no way out, I'm telling you, online is the best way out. Online business, online, whatever you think of online, do it online. Online is the way out, the fastest way out, the best way I've seen so far. Like you see people in less than 3 months making some kind of money. And when I say online, anywhere you can afford to get an internet connection, it's true it's harder for some places. I'll tell you for a fact, it's harder for places like where I am right now in Cameroon. So many things are even supported. You hear about the TikTok fund and they'll tell you a creativity fund. In fact, that's one of the reasons I wasn't invested in it, because I heard about the creativity, and there are ways to go around these things. And that's why I just don't want to go too deep. But there are ways to go around these things. It's just that it demands some kind of you need to be well. You need to have the right connections. You need to be well oriented and everything. But I just want to give the example of where I am right now. Like the TikTok phone wasn't available for guys for people like people in my country, right? But there are ways around these things. There are ways around all of it, all of it. I just wanted to give that as a point. And truthfully, what I just mean is, if you are at zero, you could get to hero state. This is yes, it has never been like this before. Like ever, you will get here, you will get there the fastest than ever. It has never been like this ever before. That out of the way, let me go to the next one. Kindness is one of the most rewarding things in the world. Yeah, this is um this is a truth that hit me in the most right and unexpected way. Like I knew it. I knew this was true. I knew that kindness is a very good thing. I knew that kindness is very, very important. But I didn't know how important. I didn't know how much of a reward it is. When you're kind to people, I want to give you an example of one time I helped a woman carry a bag. She was carrying a very heavy bag, and I was like, "Mom, can I help you out?" She was like, "Thank you, my son. Thank you, my son." And I carried her back and I pulled her back home, and I gave the bag. And she had kids at home. Gave the bag to the kids, and I was like, "You guys should help mom remove the things from the bag, make the bag light and stuff." And the funniest thing about it is you feel I don't know I don't think that day I was particularly sad, but you feel happier after just helping someone. You don't even need the person's thank you. It's weird. It's weird, but kindness is one of the most rewarding things in the world, because it's just abundantly rewarding from left to right. You feel your body tells you thank you. You just feel thank you. God tells you thank you. The person you help tells you thank you. Like I just like yeah, genuinely helping is one of those things I've discovered it has multiple positive effect. One of those things, it's the most rewarding thing in the world. There's nothing more than helping. which is why I'm not against any business. Like most businesses are there to help people, so I'm not against even a business. Even if you do a business, most of the times you're doing a business because you're helping people. So I'm not against any of these things, but helping is one of those things that genuinely is the most rewarding in the world. It is done. You do it for free. I'm not asking you to give money to people. When you see someone that is maybe in need of, that's maybe in a difficult situation and in need of help, you help the person out. You don't know where that help can take you, and I mean, it's just do it from the heart, and you will feel the reward. You will feel it. Um, we are about to say it. You can't do it all alone. You can't do it all alone. This is true because this one is it's funny. It's funny, right? Because when I was quite younger, when I was slightly younger than this, about 2 3 years back, when I started all these things, I used to think I could do it all alone. In fact, I've always thought I could do it all alone. Like, yeah, and last year he hit me right. He hit me right straight to the forehead. Yeah, this big forehead. And then I realized, yeah, you can't do it all alone. And truthfully, you can't do it all alone. I don't care if you're starting a business, you're starting whatever you are doing in your life. If you find a partner, if you find someone whom you can do it with, it is about 10 times easier. Especially if you have the right person. It's about that. That's the real deal. But it's about 10 times easier if you have the right person, which is very difficult to find. But if you are ever able to find the right person, it will make your life so much better. It's hard to find, but it's just the best way to go. If you go about your life and say, I'll find this person, then we'll do it together, and find that person, you will save yourself 90% of the stress. In fact, let me be realistic, yeah, 50% of the stress at least. Yeah, 50% of the stress. So it's always better to do it. People do it at least with someone, but with people even it's even better. That's why I create communities. That's why I do all these things, because I've realized that the value in this, that it's super valuable for any person that wants to do anything, any genuine, any real, substantial something. You need to do with people or with someone at least. The next one is it's always a 90% prep for 10% action. I don't know if you've ever had you've ever been to any competitive sport, whether you've participated, you've played, or you have been a viewer, an audience, right? You will see a player. Let me give an example of something very common. I think football is one of the most common sports in the world. You see players, they train maybe 6 days a week or 5 days a week for a 1 day match event, right? That's the same. I want you to just picture that and look at it in a frame. That's the way the world works 90% of the time. It's always 90% of preparation for 10% action. Everything you're doing, look at a sport champion, look at a boxer, look at a champion, any field. He's always training just to go and perform out there. And the performance is just 10%. Like performance is just maybe once in 3 months. He trains for 3 months and he comes and perform for 1 month, and he goes back and train for another 3 months and perform for 1 month. And that's the way the world works in every single way. Every single way. Let me give an example. Maybe I will have like I will have recorded about 100 videos before my first video ever goes viral. And the reason for that is because all the 19 and this is the thing, your prep isn't necessarily prep as in I'm preparing. Sometimes you're actually playing the match. It's just like when you let me talk about Champions League finals. When they play the Champions League, every match is a much bigger event. Every match is a much bigger event, but the finals is the biggest event, right? So the preparation was the matches. The preparation wasn't the training they were doing. The preparation was the matches before the finals. Preparations of the finals were of the teams that went to the finals were the matches they played before the finals, the semi-finals, the quarterfinals, all those matches they have played previously to the finals. Those were all preparatives. Same applies to every single thing. As I was talking about the videos, maybe I would have to record about 100 videos for any video to have substantial views. All of these, that's how the world works. If you realize that is how the world works, there are so many things you will change the way so many things work. So it's always 90% prep for 10% action. And yeah, I just discovered that it's actually mind blowing to me. If I could explain this point deeper, maybe next time, or maybe in the previous or something in the next video, I'm going to maybe expatiate on this. But that's really the point. The next one, we're already about the 8, so we're getting closer to the end. There will always be room for improvement. This is genuinely for people who work very, very hard, or for people who are scared of working hard, or for people who think hard work is kind of it, like you just genuinely the act of working hard just kind of scares you. Working hard is one of the most rewarding things. Like, no, not in terms of rewarding, fulfilling. Yeah, it's actually fulfilling. When you work very hard on the right things, like the right things to you, you feel it. Your body tells you today you did your best. Today you did, even if you weren't paid, you were not paid. You had today you did your best. I'm happy. I'm proud of you. Your body tells you, you feel it even in your body. So when it comes to the room for improvement, is that work at the end of the day, if you do a certain kind of task every single day, it becomes very monotonous. If you do, let me give about an exercise, let me say you do 10 push-ups every single day, it becomes monotonous. That's why the world hasn't stayed the way it is right now. That's not how it was 10 years back, because of advancement, because of improvement. And that's how you should focus on in life. It's even a saying that if you stay at a certain pace for a very long time, that if you stand at a certain pace for a very long time, you are actually dying. So there's always room for improvement. If today you do 10 push-ups, next 2 weeks you're still doing 10 push-ups, the next month you're still doing 10 push-ups, and you don't even get to 11, you start to die. You start to reduce even in performance. It starts to kill even your muscles. So there's always room to add even 10 push-ups and a half, even 10 push-ups and three quarters, even, and then you get to 11 push-ups. Even if it takes 2 months, even if it takes 2 years, it takes 5 years. There's always room for that improvement, and it's always good to think about it in a very positive frame, because people will think about improvement and it's kind of intimidating to like, to be like, no, so today I did 15 push-ups, I still need to add one push-up next year, so that is 17 push-ups, so that the year after is 18 push-ups. That's really not the way to think of it. You have to have a very positive frame to improvement, because improvement is what keeps you alive, improvement is what keeps you sharp, improvement is what keeps you growing. That's actually the point. Improvement is what keeps you growing. So yeah, there's always room for improvement. There will always be. So don't stop growing. Always keep improving. The next one is, you shouldn't have mercy on yourself if you're not where you want to be. Anybody listening to this and the person isn't where he wants to be, right? I want you to understand something. Let me give an example that's more concrete. If you were somewhere, like if you were right here right now and there is a fire under you, there's a fire right now and it's burning, what will you do? If you will be thinking about how, no, if fire is burning, it's not. Will you be like this? This is actually a genuine question. Will you be thinking about first days? No, it's not fair. Why is the fire burning under me? Why is this happening to me? Why am I the only one in the world that is fire? Why is it happening? Or like the whys and everything, like as some people are. Or are you going to just try to run out of the fire as much as you can until you try and find if there is a way to escape, and if possibly there's a way to escape, you're actually going to eventually escape? That's a genuine question, because this is truly one of those ones where people I see some kind of obvious confusion where people don't get it. If you are somewhere in your life, you are just too broke, you're just too poor, you're just too weak, you're just too whatever, and you don't want to be there, find a way to leave that place as fast as possible. Don't even waste a second. Don't give it a second. Don't wait for the fire to burn you. If fire burns you a lot, you end up, you lie down on the floor, right? So yeah, don't wait for the fire to burn you, and if you find a way, escape as fast as possible. Don't give it a second. That's why I even included in the brackets here that I think you should be patient is wrong. I don't think anybody should be patient about anything in life, and I don't care how young you are. If you were in a fire, whether you are 2 years old, whether you're 5 years old, 25 years old, 55 years old, 85 years old, I would always advise you the same thing. Run. Run as much as you can until you find a base out, or if you find a way out, you find a water where you could share, you could wash the fire off, you find a gate where it is, like, run out of the fire. That's actually my point. It's very, very important that this lesson, I want to even keep it to myself, so that whenever I'm rewatching this video, it's beneficial to me. The next one, we're already about the 10th. If you've only seen the whole from the surface is deeper than you think it is. This is one of those points where it's only after you've been burnt by the fire. This is a different context, right? I'm talking about different fire. Let's keep the other fire apart. Let's talk about different fire now. It's only after you've been burned by the fire that you get to this realization. So let me just talk about it. When I started online businesses, right, I was just seeing businesses and I was like, okay, you can just do surveys and you make some money and you make $100 a day and you make and you see this stuff, you see it written there, you make $200 today, you make $500. Oh, interesting. And I'll be clicking on the bottles and I'll be trying them and I'll be trying everything, and nothing was really working, right? And then when I found another one, I would do it and I would try, and nothing was really working. And you start to understand, it goes deeper, it's deeper, it's deeper, it's deeper. So they just got me into this because like that's the way it all works, but it's always deeper, right? Like just as school, as everything. If you were looking at school from the way I see school now, you'll be like, is this how it works? You have to go deep to understand. So if you're looking at the whole from the surface, it's always deeper than you think it is. I can all of these things. I can always expatiate on them later. I might eventually expatiate on them later, but I want it to be at least understood to some basic level. Um, I think 11 is the last one, which is everything I know now. I always knew. I just didn't know it like I do now with great detail. This is actually very very true, and this is more of a fact. This is more of reality, right? Everything I talked about here, I've always known it to some degree. I've always known all of these things. I've always kind of understood it to some degree. But as years go on and on, eventually I get to it's it just builds more understanding. I understand things better. It gets more clearer. It gets more concise. My mind is connecting the dots. All those kind of things. It's genuinely mind blowing. This one, it's crazy. Yeah, but because I'll talk about it next time. I'll talk about this particular point. Surely, I'm sure I'm going to talk about it because it's really important to understand that anybody who is younger than, even if you're older than me, there are some beliefs you hold that people might see it as contrarian, people might see it as controversial, they might label any name to it, but you know it's true and it's actually really true, but you need to put in the work for people to realize it is true. Yes, I don't want to go so much into it, I don't want to name anything here, but I want to say for a fact. Let me give an example. Making money online is something that's very recent. It's not even something that's old school. But I always knew that there was a way to make money online from day one I started. I didn't know how. I didn't know if it could be possible even for myself. I didn't even know if it was possible for an African, for a Cameroonian. But I always knew there's a possibility. And there's a possibility actually. I now know better and everything. But it's just to just be like to talk exactly about what I'm saying. So the ideas you have in your mind, I don't want anybody to preach them out of you if they are actually truly helpful to you. Their ideas, things like if you're a man, let me give you an example because this is one of those ones that some people are that it's really a 50-50, right? Things like if you are a man, you should retire your parents. I believe even if anybody tries to release this thing to move this thing from my mind, I wouldn't agree to that. I believe as a son to my parents, eventually, in fact, that's the goal, right? We make so much money that we can retire our parents. And my own, this is my own idea, is to build my own companies in such a way that I can accommodate my parents into a fun lifestyle because I don't believe in retirement. Maybe I'm going to talk about this in later, but I don't believe in retirement, and this has already been studied and analyzed and everything. In fact, I know everything about this thing I'm talking about. I don't believe in retirement. I believe that you can have rest days. I believe everything, but I don't believe in the fact that you get old and you rest and you die, or you get rest, you rest and you. In fact, what happens is when you get old and you rest, you die faster, which you could go check out about that, or I'm going to talk about that later. But I had a bonus. This is a bonus because it's something I really found out last year, which it gave me this smile. I'm smiling right now. I found newly restored faith in humanity. I'm not trying to be political here, actually, but Trump's win was heroic, right? You know, when you get to my understand. In fact, when you know things the way I do know, and this is just basic common sense. All right, these are things I know. These are things we all know. We all understand that there's corruption. We all understand that there's cheating. We all understand that all of this happen at every level. Like it happens everywhere. It happens in the judicial system. It happens in every system. These things happen, right? But when it gets to a point where the reality can still triumph, it's very very important. Last year, Trump won the 2024 US elections. 2025, 2024, yeah, whatever. He has a 4 year mandate, so whatever. If I call it 2024, 2025, 2026, he won it. And I was so happy about it. I was so happy the media tried to say things. They took their man to court like how many times. They said the man was racist. They said every kind of thing. I genuinely, my affinity to the man, I just respect the man. It's not genuine. It's not love. He's not doing anything for me. I don't think he's really doing that much for me. But it's just respect to the man. Like the man deserves the respect he for doing whatever he did. The man took a bullet for his country and still won. And people were still doubting if he had to win. In fact, that news was kind of, it opened my eyes a lot. Like it opened my eyes a lot to what is happening in the world today. Can you imagine someone took a bullet for his country? In fact, luckily he didn't lose his life. And the news was over in about a week or two. A bullet? What? That's mind blowing. Yeah, let me not talk about it that much. But yeah, that's the whole point. My whole point of this last point was just to talk about how this is the most impressive thing I've seen ever in my life. The fact that the man has won. He won before. This is the second time of him winning the elections. And it's so amazing because the man looks very, he looks clean. He looks pure. He looks good. He looks, the man is doing a good job. I can just feel it. I can just feel. It's just a feeling. It's very difficult for people not to criticize you when you're doing the right thing. It's very difficult. Like I myself, I get critics, right? And I know I'm doing the right thing, so I know when someone is kind of doing the right. He might not be as perfect as he might not be perfect. Of course, I don't even think he's perfect. He's not perfect for sure. I'm not perfect as of course too, but he's doing his best, same as we are all. So yeah, super amazing. I was so happy for the win. It just at least pointed out the fact that at least corruption to some degree, because the way things work is, I've said it, the surface, when you look at it from the surface, the hole is deeper than you think it is. The way things work is kind of blurry. We don't see as much as it actually is. The reason the man won is because if that man lost, things would have gone upside down. Let me say it that way. I don't know much about the US. I've never been to the US yet. If I've not been yet. So yeah, but yeah, the fact he won, yeah, yeah, yeah. Genuinely, I was so happy, so happy. I was happy for the fact that I have respect for the man. Happy for the fact that the man has won before and he's winning again. Happy for the fact that the man took a bullet and won, because if he took a bullet and lost, that would have been very, like, who in his right mind does that? And I was happy for the fact that US people that wanted him got what he got, and people that didn't want him, he's the new man. I'm not the I didn't vote, so I have nothing to do with that. And just so you know, yeah, I had some last points. I had some last. These are just. I'm done with the points. I'm done with the points. They're very important things. These are just some side notes because I'm starting the podcast channel soon. This was actually supposed to be a podcast episode, but I haven't started the podcast yet, so I'm starting the podcast soon. I just need some sharing. Any sharing is helping. And the podcast, I'm thinking about putting it. The name will be the New Age Podcast, and anybody that knows me knows why the name will be that. That name is actually very, it's heroic. So I'm gonna put it. It's actually, it's a legend. It's a name that's gonna last forever. The New Age Podcast. I'm launching it very 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 soon. I just want you. Any kind of sharing is gonna be helping. Any form of support, I'll be very very happy. I don't want any financial support from you guys. I beg, like, please. I just need the sharing. Anything in the comments, like, please begin, please that, please whatever, or please, or just that, or whatever, or courage guy. I'll be very very